This is a Global Original podcast. This week's clips from a few summers ago include what colour is blue, how to get yourself a new bike, what Madonna looks like from the cheap seats, and first, a call from an old sparring partner goes about as well as it always does.
Yes, hello. I've been waiting for you. Hello.
Hello, Brian, in Stockton-on-Tees.
Yeah, good evening, Nick.
Hey, Brian.
You caught me having a slip of champagne there, Nick.
Oh, really? Shall I put you back on hold?
Celebrating the coronation of Boris.
The coronation. Yeah, isn't that an outrage?
They look like giving him it, don't they?
They certainly do.
And
you just never know, though. You never know until the nags are all over the line. You just never know. Anything could happen in this race of asses.
I looked at like jokey things in the future, and my vision is this, Nick, that he puts pressure on the EU, finally puts pressure, calls the bluff, and he says, no deal, you're not getting your 39 billion.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can't not give them the 39 billion.
No, just a sec, and then I see them all run to the toilet, right? And poor old Jean-Claude Juncker, he's going to be the back of the queue. He can't hardly walk, never mind run. You know what's going to happen, don't you? He's not going to make that toilet, is he? I look at things like that, and I think there will. He's going to pull.
You're weirder than I thought.
I see that happening. But they have never had any pressure at all put on them with May and the civil servant bloke she had. Finally, some pressure is going to be put on them.
Pressure? What pressure? You're not one of these people that thinks that they need us more than we need them, are you?
They do need us,
See,
Nick.
I knew it.
But they do need us.
You're living in a fantasy land, Brian.
Right. We'll class it as a game of cards, shall we? This talk has been going on for 3 years. Now, I think they have still very little in their hand. They're a busted flush, really. Now,
what have we got?
Right. What I'm trying to say is, we've ended up in this position with this withdrawal thing because the EU want us to remain.
No, they don't.
No, they did. They do, really. Right?
Well, most of the people in this country want us to remain.
Right. Let me finish first, then you can come back. I think they want us to remain. They always have done. The problem is the civil servants and Theresa May want us really to remain. The civil servants.
You can't possibly think that all of that shoe leather was taken in desperately trying to keep us in. She was trying to negotiate us leaving.
The civil servants, we know the Remainers. They wanted to remain, really.
Brian, the majority of the people in this country want us to remain. So I don't know where that argument's going.
No, but what the civil servants were supposed to be doing was getting us the best deal they could.
Yeah.
And in truth, all they want to do was stay as close as they could and pretend to leave. So I
honestly don't know what people like you are objecting to in this deal. It seems like a perfectly reasonable deal, a perfect stepping stone to march forward into our glorious future, a close trading relationship with our biggest trading partner, rather than to turn our back on them and make enemies of the people that we sell half our stuff to.
There's only one in this argument trying to make enemies. That's the EU. The EU are the ones who try to make.
What is it that you object to about the deal that Theresa negotiated?
The only thing they have in their hand, in them deck of cards, in their hand
is money, and jobs and trade and everything that we rely on. That's the only thing they've got.
The only thing they've ever done is threaten us. We're going to do this. We're going to do that.
With what? Threaten us with what? What have they threatened us with?
They have never ever tried to negotiate a trade deal, which they need as much as us.
Brian, we haven't even started on the trade part yet. This is the deal to leave. The trade part comes later. This is supposed to be the easy bit.
No, we know, because the civil servants and Theresa May let them do that. Because they're still, in truth, they wanted to go along.
How can you not know this after 3 years? It's the negotiation at the moment is leaving. The trade negotiations start After we'd
Yes.
left.
We know that because it was all cooked up. It was a deal set between the EU and our civil servant. It was all a bluff, right? You've got Boris coming in now.
I understand that that there's this vague sense of having one put over on you, and you're being conned. You're being conned in some way. But I really don't think you've got any concept of what's happening here, Brian.
Can I ask you a serious
After
question?
3 years, you weren't even aware that the negotiation that's going on at the minute isn't even about trade.
Right. Let's tell the truth, right? The EU want us to remain, really. They do. They want us to remain. We know that.
I think it's a bit. It's a bit charming, a little bit charming, and a little bit.
You won't let anybody. Talk, will you?
A little bit sad that you think that once we leave the EU, that your life is going to be somehow revivified. It's going to be transformed in some way. That finally you're going to achieve everything that you dreamt of in life. Brian, you can screw your eyes up and hold your breath, but you're never, ever, ever going to be a Kardashian. I hate to break the news to you. It's just not going to happen.
Nick, to the working class, right, to the working class, £50 or £60 a week is a bonus, or £100. And that could happen if it's a success. So
Wait a minute. You think you're going to get free money?
You're talking rubbish again, Nick.
You think you're going to get free money?
I'm saying if it's a success and we make more money, this country makes more money, you could get the £100 more working class and your wage back.
That's right, you could do. Or why stop there? You could get £1 million more.
No, but we're talking realistically, aren't we?
No, well, it's just as realistic. I'm just taking it a step further. All right, I'll row back a bit. We could all get £1,000 a week more.
Nick, have you heard that new record that's coming out?
I don't know. Is it the same as the old record? I think so.
Rock and roll!
All that scratching is making me itch. Put the needle in the record and the drum beat goes like this. Oh, I've heard that record over and over and over again. Change it, please. Phil says, Brian from Stockton-on-Tees versus Nick Abbott round 339 billion. Yeah, I know. It's the same call over and over and over again. I do think it is a little bit charming, a little bit amusing, but mostly sad. I'd say 25% charming, 25% amusing, and 63% sad.
Correct.
That people like Brian think that their life, that the improvement in their life hinges upon leaving the European Union. Now, is there anybody that is responsible for giving them that idea?
I'm a nutcase.
I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
Well, let's get back to it.
Kaza emails, I think the Brexit Party has a more duck egg blue tone. Really, is that their colour? Tom in Kendall says, just been watching Fatboy Slim perform, in inverted commas, at the Isle of Wight Festival. How does he get away with just playing records and not playing a single instrument? Am I getting old, says Tom. Yes. But I know what you mean. I saw him by mistake at Hyde Park. I'd gone to, I think I had a freebie, and Underworld were playing at the same time, but in a tent. And you couldn't get in. You couldn't even get anywhere near it. I think it was Underworld. It was Underworld or Groove Armada, one of those bands that actually pulls singers on and has, musicians playing. But you couldn't get anywhere near it. It was absolutely packed. But Fatboy Slim was on the main stage. And it was I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. A perfectly ordinary looking old bloke came on stage, and he didn't even make a fist of actually playing records. He didn't even pretend, really. I mean, he did that DJ thing where they stand behind the deck and they twist they twist the EQ, pretend to turn the bass up, or the whatever it is they're kidding on that they're doing up there. They're not doing anything. He just came on and he pressed play, and then an hour of pre-recorded music came out. And every now and again, he'd wave a record around and throw it into the crowd. That was an act. God, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. Fatboy Slim. He's a producer. Stay in the studio. Mike says, what about Chucker the Smooth and Change UK? He's gone and joined the Lib Dems now. What an opportunist, says Mike. I heard him interviewed, and he said he'd massively underestimated how difficult it was to set up a new party and get support from the politically homeless. But Uncle Nige did it. He says, I think Chucker is a bit useless. Well, that may be true. But Uncle Nige didn't really start up a new party. He just changed the name of his old one. He used to be a part of a group, or he pretended really to be a part of a group, because UKIP wasn't really a group. It was the Nigel Farage show. But then he went solo and just took his fans with him. That's all that's happened. It's not really a new party at all. They just changed their name. Let's have a call in Enfield. Hello, John.
Oh, good evening, Nick.
Oh, good evening, John.
Yes. What I'd like to say is that David Cameron is my whistleblower. I wrote him a long poem and recommended that he introduced a referendum, which he has, to expose everything, the corruption that exists in our government and other governments.
You wrote him a poem?
A long one, yes, a very long one, 2 pages.
That's at least 1 page too many.
Well, it wasn't. He took note.
Did you get a response?
Acknowledgement, yes.
Did you?
Yes.
Signed by him?
I was corresponding with him for some time before he brought out the referendum.
Right. Before he couldn't take it anymore, and he locked himself in a shed.
It looks what it's exposing. Look what, everything.
Well, is it? What kind of a poem is it? Does it rhyme?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Well, can you give us the first line?
Well, I haven't got it available at hand at the moment, but if you'd like to ring me as an individual...
No, I wouldn't.
I don't know you wouldn't, but that's why I'm recommending that you...
Well, wait a minute, you wrote it, you can't remember the first line.
Well, no, because it's about, cowboys and, came into it, sitting on their seats and so on.
Cowboys and Indians.
Well, I suppose I could have woven at him, but I don't think
what kind of response did you get?
Well, the response is that we had a referendum.
No, what kind of... You said that you got a letter back.
Yes, acknowledging and thanking me for the information I've sent on. They don't be specific, when they write back.
Well, it depends.
They're non-committal.
Well, sometimes they are specific if they've actually read the the poem.
I have been writing when he came into power. I've been writing before.
Well, maybe that explains.
I do write a lot of poems, and I do cartoons as well.
Oh.
And satires, political satires.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
Well, if you say, John, I don't know whether you're being satirical when you say that.
No, I'm just.
You're being serious about your satire.
I'm good at it, and I know when I'm good and I know when I'm bad. I know when I'm telling the truth and I don't tell lies.
And how do you rate your performance
tell truth
on this call?
I beg your pardon?
On this call, your performance out of 10, how would you rate it?
My performance out of 10, I don't know. It's as far as I asked you to score.
You don't know. You said you know when you're being good.
I am good.
Right. Well, out of 10.
I beg your pardon?
Marks out of 10.
I wouldn't know. I leave that to. I don't in fact enter into conflict as how many marks out of 10 and so on.
All right. I'll give you 2. How does that sound?
Because I think what we ought to do is do away with political parties and have a technical political college that people have to enter with full qualifications.
Yeah, under a threat of punishment.
With aneurysms to actually run the whole country.
Right.
All, in fact.
Okay. Well, I said I'll give you 2 out of 10.
Well, you that doesn't impress me at all.
No, nor me. Dropping like a stone. Now it's a 1. Do you want to go for 0?
Well, I know what your assessments can actually be, but at least I'm getting exposure and getting the message over, and people are taking note.
Right.
Did you tune into the Kaiser program?
God, no.
And
neither should you.
I always watch the so-called.
Yeah.
Very, very closely.
He gets his news from Russia Today. Ugh.
Oh, yes.
Well, it's given us you answered a lot of questions that we've had, John. Now you're on a 0 out of 10. Do you want to go for a minus number? 0345 6060 973. Poem My Eye. He wrote a poem and he can't even remember the first line. There was a young man from Australia. Can I say the rest of that?
No.
Squire tweets, Abbot, ain't no party like a Brexit party. We won, get over it. Nigel Farage for PM. That's never going to happen. Richard tweets, the NHS for chlorinated chicken is a great trade. I don't think that's the way it works, but, And Ray in Rochester says, come on, Nick, surely you'd swap your Volvo for a Hummer. Well, you'd have to be off your chump to want to drive a Hummer. Why would anybody want to drive one of such a stupidly huge car? What precisely are you making up for in your life that you would need a car that big? That's ridiculous. And I've never owned a Volvo, which is not to say that I wouldn't want to. I'm sure it's an excellent car in every regard. Let's have a call in High Wycombe. Hello, Owen.
No, but in antiques, a Volvo Estate M-Red was the ideal antique dealer's car, you see. People don't have appreciation of quality nowadays.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. The Volvo Estate was the most, for an antique dealer, normally somebody of a normal height.
Yeah. Speaking of normal, you called up.
Wardrobe on the roof and stuff in the back.
Right. Well, what's this got to do with what we're talking about?
I'm just saying to you, you were talking to me about duck eggs. Duck eggs, green duck eggs. You must come out off another island. Duck eggs are green, they're not blue. You ask anyone, you go to Aylesbury, do you know Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire?
Yeah, where Friars is, Aylesbury Friars.
Yeah, and then when you look there, they show you pictures with their legs being orange. When a pure Aylesbury duck, they were prawn-coloured legs.
Yeah, well, you're making a lot of sense, Owen, and this call fits right in.
Yeah, I'm just saying facts, which are facts.
Facts? Oh, well, you should have said right at the beginning. I could have saved all that time. Facts? Nobody's remotely interested in facts anymore. Particularly those espoused by your good self. What is he talking about? This says, I would like to thank John, the previous but one caller, for exposing himself as a whistleblower. Yet nobody wants to see that, John.
Disgusting.
Keep it covered up.
So they opened their big mouths, and out came talk. Talk.
Now, I don't wish to sound like somebody who complains, but my glamorous assistant just made me a cup of coffee, and I waggle my fingers in the air to denote inverted commas around the word made, because I normally do it myself, and I pre-make it before I get here, and I put the requisite amount of coffee and sugar. All he had to do was put water in it, and somehow, I don't know how you've done it, you managed to screw it up.
How?
I don't know, but it tastes awful. All you had to do was put water in it and a drop of milk, just a bit of milk. And by some method, you have managed to ruin it. You're some sort of evil genius.
How?
I don't know. It's a mystery. Nick tweets, listeners with material. Here's a poem. There was a young man from Dumbarton. Well, it's not rude. I had to read ahead just in case. It's not rude, but then on the other hand, neither is it funny. Wendy says, actually, duck eggs are green, Nick. Well, no, they're not. Just as the bird's green tits aren't green, they're blue. Duck eggs are not green, they're blue. Well, the blue ones are. You can even get blue hen eggs. Jimmy in Colchester says, I don't understand when the people say we want to be ruled by our Parliament, and now they're whinging about not liking the way that Parliament runs them. He says, I've started not to like people now. Well, I'm way ahead of you there, Jimmy. Let's have a call in Orpington. Hey up, Barry.
Hi, mate.
Barry.
Hello.
Yes, Barry.
Hello. It's not Barry, actually. It's actually Ash.
Can I call you Barry?
You can call me anything you like, brother. Call me anything you like.
Right, go ahead.
First time listener. Great show, mate.
Thanks.
I was just basically quite curious. Are you in favour of a second referendum then, basically?
I think I'm at
I
the
know
point...
it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I think I'm at the point now where I just don't care anymore.
To be honest with you, this is the problem, you see, because I'll tell you why. I'm a member of a political party. I'm a member of a Conservative party. I'm not going to, obviously, you call me Barry. I'm not going to tell you what my real name is. But I am a member of the Conservative Party.
Is your real name Barry?
No, it's not.
Right.
It's not Barry.
Is it
But
Ash?
It is Ash, yeah. It is Ash. But that's my initials. That's my initials, basically.
Right.
That's my. But the thing is, I represent a lobbying organisation for the Conservative Party, but I'm not going to kind of mention what that is. But I think I'm in the minority of wanting a second referendum. I don't think we're ever going to get it, and it feels now. I'll be absolutely honest with you. Being a member of this party, I feel so scared now. It's almost as if you plead for a second referendum, if you even talk about a second referendum, you're classed as someone who's unpatriotic.
Yes.
As if it feels as if that it's an un-British thing to do.
Yeah, but you have to. Yes, but think of the source, though, Barry. What kind of a numpty would call you unpatriotic to demand more democracy?
This is it. You're absolutely right, Nick. And I'll tell you one. The other thing, I think what this country has now become is inadvertently sinister. I'll go as far as to say, I get a sense of how Jewish people felt.
I knew you were going to say the H word eventually. Here it comes.
No. I'm honestly, I'll tell you. I think I understand now how Jewish people felt. Leading up to the Second World War, leading up to Hitler taking over.
Oh
Germany.
My God, we've gone full Nazi now. I can't believe it.
I'm not saying it's. What I'm saying is that I think
you can understand how it can happen. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel what Brexit has opened up is this tolerance that people can hate other people that are different to them.
Yeah.
If you're black,
but Barry, you don't think that this is a new thing, surely? This Brexit hasn't created this in the minds of people. It's just given them the sense of freedom to express that.
Brexit has given it the platform.
Yeah.
Basically, people like Nigel Farage are very, very sinister. They know exactly what they're doing.
Let's not get carried away.
Come on. Let's be absolutely honest here, Nick. Farage is not a stupid man. He knows exactly what he's doing. Why do you think the Brexit Party has done so? Well, you're absolutely right. The Brexit Party will annihilate the Conservative Party now.
Well, I don't know that that's true. The latest poll says that that's true, but when
the latest poll,
you know who takes over, anything could happen.
Here we go.
Because he is a more attractive proposition to many people than the current damaged leader.
But Nick, that's very, very easy. If I play to your fears, if I tell you that this country will be swarmed by blacks and Asians and immigrants,
okay,
it's easy for me to win.
It's not easy, but that mindset is having a moment, and it's all because of a certain individual who is occupying the White House at the moment.
I'm president. Can you believe it?
Politicians, I mentioned this yesterday. It seems blindingly obvious. Politicians the whole world over have seen the screaming Mimi in the White House, and they thought, you know what? This guy's an obvious dope. He doesn't know anything. He just says that he knows things. He makes up things off the top of his head, and he says them out loud, and and people, even his fans, don't believe him. But he's become a sort of, I don't know how to describe it. He's like there's sort of talisman. He's like a Pied Piper. Nobody believes him, but because everybody knows that he lies about everything.
I make $400 million a year, so what difference does it make? I know a lot about wind. I'm very highly educated. I know words. I have the best words.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
I am a young, vibrant man.
Every single thing that he says is the opposite of the truth. And politicians have realised you don't have to know anything. Why have we been wasting our time learning things? Just tell people, vote for me and everything will be huge and tremendous and great. And furthermore, the reason why it isn't at the moment is because of those people. Just point to any easily identifiable minority and tell the majority that it's their fault that you haven't achieved everything you want in life. That's all you got to do. And that kind of thinking is having a moment worldwide. A bunch of chancers have realised that that's how to get ahead. All you have to do is bring a third of the population with you. And that third of the population is also easily identified.
I love the poorly educated.
This says, Kid Creole and the Coconuts, best live band ever. Saw them live in Sheffield in 1982. There must have been 30 musicians on the stage. Excellent. Well, funny you should say that. I saw Kid Creole and the Coconuts on that very tour at Aylesbury Friars. And it was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. It was absolutely mind-blowingly fantastic. Not only were there 30 people musicians on the stage, but at the end there, he invited the audience on stage. There must have been 100 people on there. And then he just said, okay, now go back down again. And everybody did. It was just an utterly, utterly brilliant show. Kid Creole and the Coconuts. Tommy says, I bet you can't name the third Genesis singer without looking it up. The third Genesis singer? Who's the third Genesis singer? Glamorous Assistant says, I know this. Who?
Ray Wilson.
Ray Wilson?
He did the final album, which was...
something that nobody heard.
Calling All Stations.
Exactly. So I got that right too. Let's have... Who's been waiting the longest? Ipswich. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Nick. All right?
Yes, good, thanks.
I've become a bit of a scabby on the tickets because I refuse to pay such high prices for good seats because unless you can see the whites of their eyes, you don't really want to go to the concert, do you?
You want to be up the front.
Yeah, you want good seats, and they're very hard to get at good prices.
Well, the reason for that is, I think, that the good seats aren't sold to the general public. The good seats are freebies given away by the record company and the artiste.
Well, a lot of them are brought up by ticket companies. That some of them, they actually stipulate if you want a good seat, you'll pay an extra premium, and we admit to doing it. A lot of them will say that.
Well, they do that in the theatre now. It used to be that it was a one ticket price for the stalls. Now there's this golden area in the middle of the stalls, about 3 or 4 rows back, and then for 10 rows back, and in the middle, where you pay absolutely stupid money to sit in front of something that might not actually be that good.
Well, even in the FA Cup final, where the good seats are behind where all the managers sit and where the Queen's box, lots of that was empty.
I find it very suspicious that whenever the Queen shows up, she's always got the best seats. How does she manage it? She must be on the phone. As soon as those tickets become available, she must be bashing that number out on the phone.
I know, and she's a lucky lady to see everything up front. But this is what you were saying earlier. You said you were in a front row seat and you were the only one there.
Yeah.
And all the other seats around you and everybody else is crammed into tiny areas where they're all and you think to yourself, well, where's the fairness in that? And they're paying the humongous amounts to
Here's the reason why. If it's free, people treat it with the respect of something that they've got for nothing. If they haven't paid anything for it, then they don't treat it with any respect. So they just say, "Oh, well, it's raining out," or "Ugh, I'm tired," or "I can't be bothered, so I just won't go."
Well, we'd like to see Michael Ball and Alfie Boe in Les Miserables, which is going to be in a theatre in London soon. It's only going to be a small theatre, and the tickets, well, they start from about 150 quid.
That's just crazy.
I know, and it's going to be, a lot of it's sold out already. But I'll sit back and I'll look for someone's misery when, if they've had a partner die or something like that. I'll be looking on Gumtree to see where I can find some tickets. But, I know, I'm a scabby. I'm a scabby.
That is awful. If you were a fish, Gary, you'd be a bottom feeder.
Well, I live on other people's misery.
Yeah, a cheap holiday in other people's misery.
Rock and roll!
Yeah.
Well, life's hard enough as it is without having to pay 100 quid to see Alfie Boe.
Yeah, just say no. I mean, if you don't go, you won't miss it.
No. Well, I remember going to see Madonna in the 1980s at Wembley, and we might as well been in another town, We were so far from the stage, and it was awful. It was... And I think, well, I didn't actually see it. I saw a screen.
Yes, exactly.
And even the screen seemed small.
If you're at a concert and you're looking at the Jumbotron, that big video screen, and what is on that screen is just a close-up of the thing that's so far away you can't see, you might as well be watching it on TV in the comfort of your own home.
Yeah. So I'm one of these who'll hunt around at last minute. The other week we went to see Michael Ball at Ipswich on the Monday. She complained the seats weren't good enough because we were up in the circle about 2 rows from the front. So she said she couldn't see him properly. So on Gumtree, for a Wednesday performance at Bournemouth, I managed to get 2 second-row seats in the centre for 80 quid. So she was happy, so I've scored some brownie points there.
£80? That just seems too much to me. Everything seems too much to me these days. I think it's because you get a template of how much stuff costs when you're young, and that idea doesn't change. And so, I know prices increase incrementally. They slowly go up, but you don't notice that they do. They go up smoothly. You mentally take steps. So I know how much a pint cost in 1980, which is why when somebody asks for £5.50 for a pint now, I say, because that doesn't compute to me.
Well, if you think back to the 70s, if I went and bought a pair of jeans and a T-shirt, it would be an awful lot more money than in today's money.
Well, that's true. Yeah, some things have gone down.
It's a lot cheaper. Yeah. It's like a bicycle. My dad used to take a year to pay for our bikes as kids.
Yeah.
He had it on HP from Curry's or wherever. And now you can buy a brand new bike for 100 quid.
You can steal one for nothing. And that's it. If you subscribe to this podcast, the next episode will get squirted up your life as though by magic on Mondays. And don't forget the other ones that I do. One's called The Whole Show, which is, as it sounds, the whole show that I do on the radio with the ads and the news stripped out. Quicker to listen to, you'll use less electricity and thereby save the planet. There's also the helpful podcast that I do with Carol McGiffin, which is called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, in which the delightful Carol McGiffin and I try to solve people's problems while keeping a straight face. If you would like us to have a bash at your problem, send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. That's NICKANDCAROL @global.com. And prepare to be completely satisfied. And I'll be back on the radio Friday, Saturday and Sunday night at 10. And until then, LB seeing you.
Bye-bye.